that. And when you going out based on what they already dropped, you're like, I want it to be just like this. Even when it comes to Metro Boomin tape, you know, okay, if he got Walker, Travis Porter, I wanted to crank or sound just like some strip club songs or some club songs. So when you already a fan of somebody or you already hip to with their music that they've been putting out, of course you wanted to sound just like that. And when it don't, like I might go listen to Gunna a month from now, like, all right, this joint cool, because let me get out of my mind and like, sure. I don't expect that no more. But when you first hear that joint, you expect that joint. When you hear Future, you expecting him to come out cranking.
But I'm glad you brought up Future. I think somebody like Future is kind of like, he got a few different bags.
He do.
So I don't necessarily know. Like I like the bag of Future where it's just literally just cranking. Like. You gotta kind of, for me personally, I gotta be in the mood to listen to Melody Future. When I say Melody Future, I mean when he making more like girl-friendly songs. So I kind of just like, I like the Pluto mixtape better than both of those two albums he dropped.
So let me ask you this. When have Gunna ever been talking about something? He just always had good songs.
And that's the same thing somebody was saying in my group chat.
To me, he never, when have you ever been like, oh, I'm listening to Gunna because of what he's saying? It's like, no, he give you that feeling of some crank or whatever the feeling is. Like, it's just a feeling.
I guess maybe even when I'm saying something like, I feel, just, okay, perfect example, like, I don't feel like none of the Migos actually be saying nothing, but they be kind of like, at least saying something that may make you chuckle. Like when you hear it, be like, oh, that was kind of crazy. Yeah, like that bar was kind of like, it was tough. Like, oh, it was a smooth punchline. I like how they did that. But it's like with Gunna, it's literally just like.
Migos definitely had some punchlines, but it's more so that they just crank. Like, you're not listening to me. You more concerned about Amigos' hook than a verse.
For sure.
Of what they gonna say on that hook and make you.
But I feel like Gunna used to be like that kind of to the point where at least he had a solid hook. Where it's like you said, the jonks to me, probably the biggest songs off this new project will be the songs that he kind of already put out. Like that Him All Alone. That joke crank.
But like, I don't remember exactly what he was saying on it, but is he saying anything on it? It just crank. Like, it just give you that feeling like you Him All Alone. Like that joint really sound a good song. I don't know if he really saying something on the joint. I don't even know what he's saying most of the time. Like it just crank, like just the melody of that whole.
Yeah, I don't know what he was saying on that song either, but I do know it just cranked, and then that hook just kind of solidified for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So he don't really say nothing to me like, damn, he had them bars, or damn, why they gonna put that on my caption? Like he might got a couple caption lines, but.
Okay, I got another question. Do you think the internet kind of realistically, because I seen the Joan, and sometimes I be wondering like with some of the blogs, I be like, dang, I wonder is they in bed with these people? Because I seen a joint where it was like, matter of fact, I'm gonna read the joint off, where they were basically sitting here trying to tell you the numbers to all the artists in Atlanta. So they basically, the joint sit here on the cover, it says all the artists from Atlanta that Gunna already streamed more than. So it's like, so even for me, it's like, did this matter? Because is this gonna make me more of a Gunna fan just because he do more than, okay, like let's say Quavo joint was, what was it, 12.6 million a monthly listeners on Spotify. Even with the Spotify thing, for me, it's like, bro, I'm grown. I don't listen to free music. Like I got Apple Music. I don't even use Spotify.
You got Spotify too?
Nah, the joint free.
Not the whole. I don't think.
No, it's not free if you don't want the ads running through the joint. But 90% of the time, the majority of these numbers is from people who use it for free.
A lot of people use Spotify. I mean, everybody got their pick, but Spotify doesn't juice their numbers so much. It been in the news.
But listen, that's what I'm saying. So it's just like, but I feel like we live in a day and age where the internet try to kind of almost dictate what's cool off of just numbers. And that to me is kind of confusing. Like even when we were listening to that clip from Academics, when he was sitting here talking about Metro Boomin project and sitting here, you regurgitating stuff you didn't heard kids say on the internet. Like he's literally, I'm like, bro, you are supposed to be a voice of like, you supposed to impact the culture. Your voice supposed to mean something. You're not supposed to be regurgitating. He might just don't be hip to that music because he was hot on that Chicago way. He might not even be a fan of that. That's cool, but then that's to me, I guess the internet.
When he said, my bad, when he said something about Gunna, he would just push the gun like, oh, you know he gonna sell more than Lil Baby and Thug. Y'all some trash. Like he was just going ham on them.
Yeah, but that to me is like, and that again, that's my point. I guess where it's like, I think, do we live in a day and age? But that trolling can kind of be a detriment to hip hop as a whole, because now you live in a day and age where kids not judging what you really like. You're going off of just the numbers. Yeah. Even for this to be a post, why should that even even be a post. Why do I care if just because Gunna may do more numbers than the Migos or Lil Yachty? Because to be honest, if I'm keeping it a band, we on just quality of music.
Lil Yachty,
to me, that's what I'm about to say. Lil Yachty to me, out of all the people in Atlanta right now, is the most versatile and he the most consistent.
Lil Yachty just came out with a whole new swag. He dressing different, got a haircut. He rapping with other people. He just dropped a joint with Babyface Ray today or yesterday.
But that's my point where it's like I can't just go off of numbers though, and that's my thing. Like when you hear so many people on the internet where the conversation is just like, even with the joke, like I seen people in Lil Baby comment section yesterday because he put out a joke and they redid Perky's calling, and it was him and what's the little dude from Milwaukee, whatever his name is, from Milwaukee, yeah. They redid, and they call it Drugs Calling. Man, Lil Baby went crazy on it, but I'm watching people in the comment section talking about numbers from Gunna Project. I'm like, bro, this cannot, because to me, and that will be the biggest detriment to hip hop if we just keep going off of some numbers that you don't know if it's real or if it's fake.
I don't think the numbers make you say somebody better, but they try to push it like they bigger than, you know what I'm saying, bigger than somebody. Or it might make you run and go like, let me see what this to. But that don't necessarily mean like, that Gunna Project ain't better than the stuff Yachty been rapping on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just make you run like academics trying to push. Oh, he gonna sell more than such. He trying to make it look like they washed and he not. He hot and they not. Or he bigger than them. That's what the numbers be trying to, you know what I'm saying? That's why the first week sales was always a thing, because they want you to seem like, oh, this person is this big of an artist.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I think that to me is the biggest detriment that's happening in hip hop right now. And I seen Offset did a joke. He was on Joe Budden's joke, and they were talking about that where he was like, I come from an era where he was like, no, our first project only did 10,000 the first week, but that didn't stop us from sitting here still doing the groundwork. And I do think realistically in this day and age where it's like, okay, after the first week numbers come out, a lot of rappers do kind of take their foot off the gas. And even when we sit here talking about do numbers matter and stuff like that, and I told you even when I seen the academics talking about Metro Boomin, John, the rappers kind of got to take a little bit of fault for that, because realistically, you sit here, no rappers have sat down with enough people who have a voice of maybe what your diehard fans may have, and you're not solidifying those voices. So it's kind of like you allow somebody like an academics to kind of run freely, because you haven't bigged up another voice to kind of give him some type of competitive energy. Because like somebody,
I know he going ham on the Metro Boomin joint because he don't mess with Metro Boomin. He been grilling Metro Boomin for the last year, 2 years.
Of course.
So he might really like the joint, or even.
But my point though, but even for somebody like Metro Boomin, if you know for a fact the sound that you went to go chase for Atlanta, the voices you was trying to help, to me would be perfect example was like, let me go do some interviews, and let me do some interviews with people who understand and appreciate the project that I just put out.
That whole mainly everybody, not gonna say everybody, but like Travis Porter, Jose Guapo, Young Dro, Rich Kid, they all went to New York. They probably was on the press run.
But that's why I'm about to say he should, because realistically,
I don't know if they did. I seen them doing videos and stuff.
Well, I hope he do, because all I'm just saying is for something like that, I just always be like, dang, that is. I mean, well, basketball players and sports athletes do it kind of now, where they say here like, all right, we tired of Stephen A. Smith voice. Let's just all start our own podcast. Let's support other athletes who got podcasts and help their voice get harder, bigger. But rappers don't do that. It's like I feel like a lot of rappers are lazy as hell, and then you can't complain and get frustrated with academics if you haven't elevated somebody else's voice to compete with his. Where if he's the only person with a big voice, it's kind of just like, y'all kind of just laying down. You taking the easy route out, and you're not really trying to do the work. Well, back in the day is like you was trying to work a project. You had to go city to city, pass out your CDs, and you had to go city to city and build relationships with DJs.
That's what I think. I think one, either the rappers feel like they too big to go do interviews, or either the interview people feel like they ain't big enough, so they ain't reaching out. Two, people rely on the internet too much. They think because they got 1 million followers, 500,000, 10 million followers, once I post, it's out there.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Then a little small blog's gonna pick it up, so I ain't gotta go do nothing. Of course. It's a different day and age, but I think people should still go hit the streets.
No, I agree with you. And I think the version of hit the streets now would be, okay, maybe I'm not going to go to each radio station, but you should go to different cities and find different podcasts. And I do agree with you. I do think two things is true. I think some artists feel like they're too big to keep doing a bunch of interviews. And I do think some podcasters and YouTubers don't have the numbers to back it up, so they don't reach out to people where it's probably like, man, I mean, shit, if you on TikTok, it's endless people supporting and loving that Metro Boomin. I'm talking literally every time I get on TikTok, bro, I see somebody doing a crazy video to the Walker joint. I see endless people dancing to the Travis Porter joint. So it's like a lot of people really, and that's the thing I like about TikTok, because like, I mean, let's be clear, every social media platform gonna have trolls, every YouTube comment gonna have people, faceless pages that just trolling. But when you can actually see other people creating content to the music, it kind of make you be like, all right, cool, I know I'm not tripping. I did really already like this song, and I like the fact every time that I'm getting on TikTok, I'm seeing other people enjoy the same music that I enjoy.
Another thing is, rappers will think they'll see somebody podcast or just numbers on their platform like, oh, they ain't doing that much, I gotta get paid. When for real, it might not be millions of things, but it might be the biggest thing in their city, or one of the biggest things. You know what I'm saying? It might be 3 or 4 people from their city that's jumping. Of course. They probably doing 20, 50,000 views, but it might be good for that city, you know what I'm saying, for that market. For
that market, for sure.
Yeah, but somebody look at it and be like, man, they ain't doing enough. I need 2,000. I need whatever their price is, you know what I'm saying?
But that, again, and that is the point where the era we live in now, where even the artist is allowing too much. You don't want the numbers to dictate your art, but you're allowing the numbers to dictate who you will sit down with. That can realistically, like you said, that person may not get 2 million or 100 million views on their jump, but in their city, and let's just say they only get 5,000, but them 5,000 people is locked in real life, standing on what this person's voice is saying because he's talking for their area. I do think a lot of rappers kind of got to get back to that, because back in the day, if that was a DJ, you would be on it. If you knew for a fact that a DJ was DJing a club every week and he was getting 5,000 people, guess what? It didn't even have to be 5,000 people, because there ain't too many clubs in America that can hold 5,000 people on a weekend basis. But if that club could have hold 500, 600 people, you appreciated that DJ. So why not appreciate that same podcaster or YouTuber that's getting 500 or 600 every week? Because guess what? What's the difference between that and a club?
Yeah, I just feel like a rapper gotta just find somebody that they mess with, or just go to the popular one in every city or certain cities.
Yeah, and build it. To me, build it up, because then that's how you almost erase academics' voice. And that's not no shade to academics, but I never went to academics for his opinion on music. I went to because he was giving up news. He was breaking the news. He was doing this, like you said, the war in Chirac and stuff like that. Stuff that people had to do research to do. Yeah, I'm cool with that, but your opinion on music, like when I'm listening to him and sit here and make it seem like, oh, Travis Porter and Young Dro and all these other people is washed up, I don't necessarily sit here and think they washed up. One, I don't think they ain't put out music, because being washed up is putting out music and niggas is not checking for the music at all. But if you completely just stop putting out music, how can I say you washed up? Because you ain't even put nothing out to let people know. Because when I heard that Roscoe Dash on the Metro Boomin joint, I'm damn like, damn, Roscoe John like sound like Drake on this joint.
I ain't gonna, and a lot of people were saying that about the No Kill or something.
Yeah, the Butterfly song compared to Drake No Kill.
I ain't gonna lie, ever since that mixtape came out, them niggas been on a run far as like, they went to New York and turned up and did whatever, but in Atlanta, they done had to do parties. They got the DJs playing. They got everybody supporting. Like, they ain't letting that shit slide. Because you shouldn't, though. And this their biggest, like, momentum in a minute. Of course. For most of them, you know what I'm saying? Of course. Like, oh, yeah, we ain't. Of course. And I ain't gonna lie, Walker did his thing. That clap joke. Girl, Travis Porter?
Yeah, that Travis Porter joke.
They burned up the club down there.
But they should, though, and that's my point.
That's my joke.
But that's what I'm saying, though. But that's my point. So just imagine if you, but one is because you grew up on these artists. But imagine if you ain't have your own brain, because both of us felt the same way when we seen that clip of Academics, where it was kind of like, dog, what is you talking about? But that, again, that's somebody who didn't grow up on that day and age, in that era of music, like and he wasn't outside. So, but no, that's what I'm saying.
It's just because of Metro Boomin.
No, but it could be some people who just, I was listening to Rory and Maul. For people who don't know, they used to do a podcast with Joe Budden, and they're a little bit younger than him. But they may realistically, if I'm from New York, you may have never been a Travis Porter fan at all. Yeah. So you're not gonna appreciate, like you said, that girls want to have fun, John. Where it's like, but if I'm a Travis Porter fan, I've kind of already been conditioned to this music in the first place. So it's easy for the first time I'm hearing, I'm like, ooh, this sound like old Travis. So it gets you hyped and like, dang, I like this song because you appreciate old Travis. So you hearing some new Travis in 2025 and it sound like the old Travis. Of course I'm appreciating it.
So what would you do if you was any of the artists? Would you come out with your own mixtape right now, like in the next couple months?
I would keep pushing these songs first, and then I would, but at the same, while I'm pushing these songs, again, doing interviews, I would be trying to do as many interviews as possible, get my face back out there, familiar with people, and touch as many people as possible as while I'm pushing this music. and then I would be still recording my own stuff. I think a lot, again, when we talk about the numbers thing, I think a lot of artists stop putting out music as much as they used to because you're so concerned with the numbers.
Do you think any of them artists, Walker, Travis, Rich Kids, J Money, do you honestly think any of them can get big and like start going back in that chilling market, or you think it's just a way because of Metro Boomin?
I think they can because Young LA kind of already proved that you can.
Yeah, you're right.
He already showed you that all it takes is one big song. All it takes is one big song on social media that kind of get you back going to get booked, and after, but you got to be able to.
That was an old song too.
And exactly. So that's what.
He could have. I feel like he could have kept going too. He just ain't dropped.
He didn't drop enough, and he made really.
He wasn't on the Metro joint.
Yeah, he was on it. He was on that. He was on towards the end. He got a song called. No, it was him and Lil Baby. It was called. I think it's called Jerry Curry or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Balling like Stephen Curry, balling like that joint. So, but like I said, even for him though, he when he had his moment, he kind of took his foot off the gas, and I'm sure because realistically, again, for most artists, will always kind of would do it to you. You'll start getting big headed again. You start getting some money in your pocket. Now you ain't as hungry as you was when people wasn't thinking about you just 2 weeks ago. So because it's like there ain't no reason for you to stop putting out music. But again, that's why I say want to give Lil Yachty his props, because Lil Yachty somebody who he ain't paying attention to the numbers. He just keep dropping music because your fans gonna like it regardless.
And he be giving people alley hoops. All he be going to go tap in with people that's almost big as him. And you know what I'm saying?
Of course. But even again, going back to the original conversation we was talking about when I was sitting here and brought up Montana 700. Bro, he literally just starting to get his buzz. He already drop 2 projects since people didn't actually start to pay attention to them. Since they've been on $1 million worth of game and they doing all of these other interviews. Yeah, he 2 projects in because I was looking at the jump. What was the one jump he recently just dropped last week, and then he dropped the one they had Pipeline and all that.
I just watched this new video he dropped. I gotta go listen to it.
Yeah, but nah, his jump, I mess with that jump.
I really check him out.
Montana 700. Yeah, what was the last project he dropped? Yeah, 700 Reasons was the first joint he dropped this year. Well, literally a couple months ago when he dropped that one. He dropped this one. He dropped that one in February, and then he didn't just drop this other project last Friday. So, but to me, I think that's how often you should drop realistically. Like you can't
what was the month?
One was in February, and then what's this? August now?
6 months. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's
good.
Yeah. To me, that's what you kind of need to do.
3 months. If you ain't got no super big song in rotation.
Yeah, if you don't have a big song in rotation, I'm with you. I think every 3 or at least every 4 months. Because if you do every 4 months, that at least what's that? They give you 3. They give you 3 projects a year.
Yeah, every quarter.
But a lot of artists just don't be having that. Again, like I said, and it's sad because I know we live in the times, and that is the times that we live in. But people, even with content creators, the numbers can get discouraging. So if the numbers ain't clicking, then you got, oh man, people don't care. I can miss a day. But that day you missed could have been the day that nobody else was on the internet doing nothing. Perfect example, when Shannon Sharp got the Cat Williams jump. Everybody else in media take that little first week off kind of right after the New Year's. People not dropping nothing. Podcast still on vacation. Oh, everybody else was on vacation. Shannon Sharp was the only person that dropped. He had a free week.
So what you think, like, or maybe they feel like some rappers probably feel like they can't make enough crank in that amount of time. Like I gotta say these for when I got.
But again, with the conversation me and you always have, cool. If you're not gonna crank, then talk about something. We always had this conversation. It's either you gonna crank or you gotta talk about some of the realest stuff ever. And when you talk about that, people can relate to you completely different. Something always going on, even if it's not personally going on to you. You know somebody. You shouldn't be, especially if you're a rapper or a content creator or anything. You shouldn't be so removed from real life that you can't get ideas or get conversation starters from regular people.
I think if you ain't on no contract where you got to be on a schedule, you should drop every quarter.
Of course, and I do think that again, listening to when Offset was on Joe Budden, that is something that kind of messed a lot of artists up, especially because you in this day and age where you take them deals so early, where you kind of be like, okay, yeah, I get a big song on social media, now I hurry up and sign a deal, and now that deal won't allow me to put out a project. So now you kind of screwed yourself. Yeah, you had this one big song on TikTok. Now you can't drop a project because as soon as that song got big, you went and geeked out and signed a contract instead of doing the groundwork. Because you can realistically run your own bag up. If I get a hot song on TikTok, bro, you can work the song in your own city. And the cities are close, especially the song big enough because people gonna look for you.
Some of them might feel like they ain't got the money though, or they might miss their moment. And like, fuck,
Man,
after that one song,
listen to what I'm saying. You can't miss your moment if you sit here. I don't listen to say we in the DMV era. If I get a big song, I'm talking about a big song on TikTok and it's going crazy, bro. I'm sure there's promoters looking for you right now that you can sit here and go get you a quick little $500, $1,000 into the song really big. Shit, you can go in your own city, get you a quick 2,500, 5 bands. If that song that big, just imagine if you was a perfect example. Look how she already shooting herself in the foot. Shorty that had the Win Whammy song. It was 2 girls on it. The one girl, she on the Metro Boomin, was her YK niece. She on the project, but the main girl who was on the song, the Pluto girl, I did see. I think she's supposed to be on the Breakfast Club this week.
She's on Breakfast Club. But
my point is, she kind of missing her moment. That song got big, and you kind of start beefing with Shorty. You try to throw a shot at Lotto. Now you kind of exclude yourself where it's like, all right, them songs, they kind of dying down now. Now what you gonna do? She dropped the project, but again, you gotta, bro. She put out like a 5-song project. You gotta come right back. Especially when songs get that big and they that catchy.
That's what happened when you have a label and a team and everybody got to agree on one thing. They might tell you, you only need an EP. You got, you know what I'm saying? You know how it goes.
But again, when we're talking about the difference,
because I told you, I said. Well, before the Metro Boomin drop, I said, he got to have a 20 songs. You like, nah, he might only do, I like, nigga, he got to put 20 songs on that motherfucker. And
I honestly don't think he was originally probably trying to put 20, but I think when people started to see him and Quavo was starting to do videos and the way people was responding to them Jones, I think other artists kind of probably reached out to them. It was like, hey, let me get on that jump.
And then you got artists that was in that they saw.
No, I think all of them. Oh, I mean, yeah, but some of them people, like, I don't even know who some of them do. Like, what was the dude who, I can't even remember his name, but I didn't know who he was. Like, he didn't have.
If you talking about the live that I sent you,
yeah,
the one at the bottom, he had a big song on air. It was a couple other people.
What was the big song?
I gotta think offhand, but even like when they just had the party at the club, Young Joe brought out Shop Boys because they remade Shop Boys joints on that project, but I don't think Shop Boys was actually on there. I gotta look at the playlist.
I think Shop Boys was on there because I want to say I kept hearing them. I heard them on that project. They kept shouting the Shop Boys out on that project.
Because Young Joe, one of them songs with Young Joe, they remade one of the songs. I gotta look at my phone to see what.
But even with but let's be real though. Even with the Shop Boys, and I don't want to sit here because now I'll be a hypocrite when I'm sitting here saying washed up, but they literally only put out one song. So you can't see, it's a difference between when the rich kids had their moment, they had projects. You can still go on Apple Music and they got projects. Travis Porter had projects. We can't just sit here and make it seem like because you had a song, I'm supposed to treat you the same way as rappers who actually put projects together.
I seen DJ Plug say he made a tweet and was like, I did my part. Like basically he said he mentioned everybody's name and that's all, you know what I'm saying? I guess Metro or whoever in the room had the last say something. But he's like, I did my part.
Yeah, because but still, it's just like, come on, bro. Some of the people were like just had a song. Yeah. The Shock Boys had, I can't even remember the song. Party Like, what was it? Party Like a Rockstar or something?
They had Party Like a Rockstar and the one Young Joe made. When I get my phone, I'm gonna tell you which one.
Yeah, but that to me, that's the only thing I guess realistically. Like even shout out to Lucci because he don't need it. That let's be clear. That January 31st, people on social media treat it like it's a hit, but he really on that junk talking. Like even when that junk come in, you don't know nobody really than you or whatever that little intro part is before the song come into. Everybody be using that junk on social media, so it's like, but he actually talking about something, so you'll never get tired of that song.
That song, yeah.
Even somebody like Big X the Plug, I just seen the joint the day when I was on my way here. I was listening to the joint. He just did some joint. I can't probably with some country or some white woman. I don't know. But he on the song like he talking about like he be talking about stuff. Like Big X the Plug, I ain't gonna lie. He one of them people when you talking about like Gunna and you talking about tone of voice and actually know how to sit in the pocket. He know how to sit in the pocket and he got a great tone of voice and he know how to pick good beats. But he be actually talking about something on his songs.
I got to tune in more to him.
Like he one of them people, he got that voice and he be actually saying so much motivational type of stuff. Every time I see people be working out, endless men and women be using his music for their workout videos because he be actually just saying stuff on the jump that kind of almost makes sense to use for a workout video.
Yeah, the songs I heard from Big X, I mess with. I gotta go listen to the whole project now.
Yeah, he on point. Again, like I said, shout out to Lucci, shout out to Metro Boomin. Again, I just think realistically the era we live in, I hope everybody just don't keep allowing
The internet.
the internet to dictate how you gonna put out music, and
check it out
allowing
for
the
yourself.
internet to dictate what's cool and what's not. Because you may be watching this joint right now, like, man, I love that Gunna project. Cool. Go listen to Academics, big up the Gunna project. I just didn't feel like that Gunna project, because he set the bar so high for himself when he first came home. And I'm not even comparing it to the previous stuff when he had endless features, Drake and all of these other people, because I know he ain't gonna be able to create that again, because he not in the studio with all of those people no more. But I'm talking about just off that very first project when he came home. You put yourself in a different situation where you ain't staying, you haven't even, and that's literally
I'm
nothing.
gonna listen to the second half.
You ain't even competing back with that one yet.
Listen to the whole tape.
I ain't even make it through the whole jump because it was kind of like I just got like, all right, bro.
I gotta go listen to the second half and see, cause it started getting good. Like that Burna Boy song, that one after that. I think I gotta go listen to the rest and see.
Hey, do you feel like the